July 23rd, 2025, Joe announces the closure of Asymmetric's Liquid Alpha Fund after it suffered a 78% year-to-date loss. The decision came amid mounting criticism from investors over the fund's poor performance, especially as reports surfaced as McCann's plans to raise $1 billion for a new Solana-focused treasury company, despite the fund's steep drawdown. McCann stated that the fund's high volatility trading strategy had, quote, ceased to serve investors, end of quote, and that Asymmetric would now focus on future opportunities, allowing limited partners to redeem capital or reinvest it into other liquid vehicles. The closure marked a strategic pivot for McCann, who emphasized that while the venture strategy remained unchanged, the firm would adapt discipline to better serve investors in a maturing crypto market. Again, my document has the footnotes included. If you want a copy, by all means, let me know. So let's go. August 30th, 2025. Joe shares a picture from Joe Budden's birthday party. Says that Ashlee introduced him as her fiance, even though he hadn't proposed. That they had looked at rings weeks prior. Quote, Ashlee was so excited for us to be married, she couldn't help but share what she knew was coming in the future. I said to her, I'm fine with you introducing me as your fiance. Just give me a heads up next time. She said, okay, babe. I'm just so excited I couldn't help it. And gives the healing heart emoji. The timeline jumps to January 2026 when Joe is being interviewed by TMZ. And he initially says that Ashlee learns from the doctors of a possibility of not being able to carry a child. That he assures and consoles her and she calms down. Now, what's interesting about this is there is no consideration of the multitude of fertility treatments and surrogacy programs out there where Ashlee could still realize having a child with Joe. So it's weird that he's trying to allegedly, of course, paint the scenario that she became so depressed that she couldn't have a child or carry a child. Not saying that it's not there, I'm just saying it seems very weak. In the TMZ interview, there is a 3-month jump with no signs of erratic behavior from Ashlee. But on Instagram, he says this is in fact when he had his vasectomy reversal, that he had made the decision when he asked what was more of a commitment, a ring or a reverse vasectomy. He provides conversations between ChatGPT and Ashlee, where Ashlee's asking if this gesture, how she should interpret this gesture. And of course, ChatGPT says it's a wonderful gesture, shows that he's very committed, and so forth. So in January 2026, Joe says he undergoes a vasectomy reversal, but does not show any proof that he underwent the surgery. Okay, I know you are looking at me sideways and saying, how the hell do you show proof? Look, I'm not asking to have the man's business and a phone in there during that, but he's shown medevac documents for Ashlee. He's shown a lot of things for Ashlee, but he's not really revealing much about himself, unless it's to provide, allegedly, one could say, an alibi. So even an email or a text message could, show us that he, in fact, underwent the surgery. But I guess what he does is March 6, 2026, we get an email from Dr. Bash stating that his, quote, little swimmers, end of quote, are strong. Now, okay, I know this may be a little TMI and the ick factor, but it also states that he said the ones that you dropped off. So that does not mean he gave this sample in the doctor's office under a, what they call, chain of command or custody of evidence. So who's to say that those swimmers were Joe's swimmers is my question. So I'm just going to throw that out there because, again, if the shoe was reversed, all these questions would be examined and looked at, and we would have a breath by breath 48 hours Dateline episode of how things went down. We would make it on to our girls' I'm not a lawyer, but, website. We would be all over with what happened. But because the life of an African American woman is not as valuable, she gets no voice. And again, this body of work is to give our girl a voice. So I'm just wondering, were those really his swimmers? We're going to proceed on. March 10th, 2026 at 4:49 p.m. Ashlee finds out that she's not ovulating and has doctor's appointment scheduled for March 11th and March 30th. She tells Joe it could be a, quote, cis and shit could have problems with miscarriages, end of quote. It's not shared that she attended either the follow-up appointment or the outcomes of said appointments if attended. Ashlee told ChatGPT, but the responses were not shared. She said at 8:29 p.m., I'm so stressed I'm not ovulating. At 10:25 p.m., she stated, I had a mini breakdown, letting Joe know my body is overwhelmed with stress. It's delaying my period. I cried. That doesn't say to me that a person is suicidal. That is real life, just lifing. I'm so confused on how the extremes of things are being interpreted, but to me that lends to the racism that we Black women undergo daily. We aren't even safe in our own homes. This is, to me, a clear example of that, but I'm going to keep my opinions reserved for the end. So here we go. March 12th, 2026, Joe and Ashlee take a trip to Bend, Oregon to snowboard. Joe says she starts screaming and acting erratically and threatening to end the relationship. Now note, this is before she hits her head and gets a concussion, so we're not quite given the information. And this is me filling in the information from his Instagram page. So he's leading us to believe that potentially her not being able to carry a child, and the key word is carry a child, doesn't mean she isn't producing eggs that wouldn't allow her to do a surrogacy with another woman. I mean, the money is there, supposedly, if Joe is as rich as he says he is, because again, his company just had tanked and he got rid of it. So a lot of other things that are happening in the relationship that makes it seem that these conclusions are just a very bit extreme. But nonetheless, let's continue. March 13th, 2026, Joe reports that Ashlee hits her head on a rock with her helmet on. She also doesn't tell any family of this, and Joe reports she refuses to go to the doctor. We don't have anything to verify this either, just what Joe says. They don't, again, have a doctor's note, anything. So when you look online, it says snowboarding helmets are effective at reducing head injury and severity in many scenarios, including rock impacts, but their protection is speed and mechanism dependent. At high speeds or with rotational forces, they are significant but incomplete protection. And then he gives picture number 14 as proof of her dizziness. However, it's inconclusive, as she could have just been hungry or dehydrated from snowboarding. We know that it is a very active and physical activity. She even reiterates to him on the same text that she, quote, just needed to eat, end of quote. And then the text indicates that she resumed snowboarding. So she doesn't seem like anything is bothering her. She sounds like she's having a great time. And she just may have forgotten, because she's having a great time, to eat and drink. And she got dizzy. That literally happens to all of us. It happens to me. It's happened to me. So that to me doesn't seem like one is suffering from a concussion. And, he did say that she was forgetting things that she had just said, but we don't have proof of that, unfortunately. He doesn't show text messages of her stating that she is feeling a little loopy or forgetting things. If this is all from him, and if there are more text messages, they have not been shared. Okay, it's also interesting to point out at this time, sometime in March, it's not said when, but sometime in March, Ashlee allegedly asked ChatGPT how much Valium would kill me. Now, I think it's important to say allegedly because Joe does have access to Ashlee's phone. He can unlock it. If you can unlock it, you can act as the person that owns the phone, and you can do whatever. Send money, call people, take pictures, look at pictures, access all the apps, everything. So now keep this important thought in mind because we're going to revisit this a little bit later. But March 16, 2026, Joe says, reflecting back, he was the victim of erratic and violent behavior. Then states that she allegedly tried to hurt herself on the way back home while having a panic attack. Now, keep in mind, Joe has diagnosed her with a panic attack and erratic behavior. No one else has said she's behaved this way. No one, no doctor's notes. There's no record that she had a concussion. And he says that's where we get the pictures where she's standing in the middle of the street and supposedly she tried to jump out of the car. Keep in mind something as well. He's diagnosing her with a panic attack. But the interesting thing is the connections for all of those things will not be driven towards Ashlee, but instead towards Joe. So this is the second time he says he's calming her down. He consoles her by reaffirming that they can have and will have kids and she's okay. And that he also says she refuses medical treatment until they get back to Portland, Oregon, but that the doctor confirmed her concussion and prescribed the medications. A picture, something, a text message, something. We don't have anything. No proof, no message to families, to friends, nothing independent of Joe, just Joe's word and carefully edited and crafted documentation that were given. And again, allegedly. March 27, 2026, Joe proposes to Ashlee in his Portland, Oregon home after a Portland Trailblazers and Dallas Mavericks basketball game. There's no proof that she told anyone. And let me clarify one of my previous mistakes where I thought they were living together and I questioned where her belongings were. Not her belongings in Africa, because one would assume they would be confiscated by the police when she was found. So that was really sloppy of him to assume that all, quote, journalists think the same or was reporting the same, because I did not say that. I had questioned if they had a residence together and if her really expensive things were back at home with them together. So this lens, she actually lived in Miami and had her own place. So let me make that correction. There is no proof she told anyone. So early April, they leave for Africa to celebrate her birthday and to redo the proposal to the online persona Ashlee Jenae. And this is, of course, based off of the ChatGPT advice that Ashlee so dedicatedly refers to. April 3rd, 2026, Joe proposes to Ashlee Jenae on the safari portion of the trip. Ashlee posts the proposal on Instagram and it goes viral. Ashlee FaceTimes her father to show him the ring and to celebrate. They stay at this location until April 4th. It's necessary to point out that from March 16th until they arrive at the second location in Africa, Ashlee doesn't have any manic, erratic, or crazy behavior. And this is for 21 days. She displays no issues with concussions, no suicidal tendencies. Nothing is reported in either of the reports, the interview, or online on Instagram. April 6, 2026, sometime after 4 p.m., because we know freaking hotels only let you check in after 4 o'clock. And 3 o'clock is very rare. But anyway, the couple checks into the Zanzibar Resort and Hotel, and Joe reports that Ashlee all of a sudden begins to act erratically and that she keeps threatening to call off the engagement. There is no reason or proof, but he provides picture number 20 but it does not directly support his claim that she wanted to end the relationship. It shows she's enforcing boundaries, stating that he is not hearing her point of view, that he keeps carrying her point of view and acknowledging them. I mean, he points out that she threw the helmet at him and that she was violent. She doesn't respond to those things. I don't understand if the lack of responding is her acknowledging that she did them and she doesn't care, or she's like, no, I didn't do that. Like, there is no response. That's weird. You know, could those responses have been deleted? Again, he has access to the phone. Getting a subpoena and getting access to those records unedited is the only way we're going to actually know what the conversation is. But instead he replies, I just asked you a yes or no question. Okay. All right. April 7th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. Ashlee asked ChatGPT, quote, Joe and I got into a heated argument last night. At about 8 a.m. this morning, he gathered his belongings and left for the day. His suitcase is here, so I know he didn't leave the resort. But it is 10:30 a.m. and I have not seen or talked to him at all. No text, no nothing. Oh, child, Joe is missing in action. Okay, so we got to get to this next episode so we can see what's going on. My question is, who is acting erratically? Who is acting a little aggressive? Who might be really addicted to the Valium? Is my question.